Hello, guys. Welcome to Bears Boldly Go reviews the first half of Star Trek Picard Season 2.
Mm. Um,
Do we have any
uh,
more to say about it since our 10-minute talk about why we weren't going to review it weekly?
yes, I think we do. It is a very strange season
I
now.
don't even think I don't even think it's a strange season.
No,
I don't know if there's anything.
in the sense that I'm really enjoying it,
It fits
but
fully
I
into
am
the vibe of
also,
modern television.
yeah, I think that's possibly it. It's event TV where it's just one long thing.
See, I'm
Um,
enjoying it. One thing, full
mm,
spoilers for episodes 1 through 5 of Picard Season 2 here.
of
I
course,
think
episode
I
six is aired now, so
I,
it's your fault.
I think I got a much bigger kick out of the Voyage Home reference than you did.
You did,
But
yeah.
I
Although I
love
had,
Voyage Home
yeah,
is
I
my
mean,
childhood.
it had been spoiled for me because I had,
Oh, I'd had
unfortunately.
it spoiled as well,
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately. But
I mean, I love Voyage Home as well.
I
So
just like
having,
seeing him on the bus, still listening to
yeah, Angry Punk.
yeah,
Yeah,
but him being slightly
uh,
more polite this time.
yeah. It was a nice little touch. I don't think it ruined anything. Like it wasn't. I think there's far too much in
This
modern cinema
I
and TV. There's been a little bit too much fan service,
I
and Picard season one for me felt a bit too fan
I mean
servicey. It was very like
I'm
every
fine with a
corner you
bit of fan
turned, it was like
service.
a bit,
I mean
and
Lower
this was a
Decks is
bit,
fan
and I was
service for
happy with it.
TV show, and you love
Yeah,
Lower Decks.
but that is done with such a high quality that, like, I mean, it's fan service, but it's fan service written by people who actually know what, like.
So bringing
Whereas, like,
more in line with Picard.
yeah,
I think I'm on
mm,
record as saying the trailers made this look like it was grim and gritty Voyage Home.
yeah,
And it
it
kind of
is.
is. It is funny though. It is frequently funny.
Oh, it is. It's very funny, and because you've got, I mean, the thing is,
It's
you've still
there's a
got a
much
fantastic cast.
there's a heavier sense of humour running through it than was running through season one. It's a lot less
Yeah,
po-faced than season one was.
certainly. And you get to explore this crew, who are 100% going to get their own spin-off
Apart from
after the end
Elnor,
of Picard season three.
who's dead.
Uh, Although spoilers, you do see the same actor get off a bus.
No, you see the same actor play a portrayal of Raffi's grief.
Yeah,
I
but
thoroughly think he's coming back, but I don't think it's anything to do
yeah,
with
it'll be a
that.
timey wimey thing. Yeah, totally be a timey wimey thing because
We've got a great Borg Queen.
unless there's something that happened with the actor that they've managed to keep quiet, and they just went, right, we're going to kill you off, and you can do a couple of tiny little Raffi's grief stuff. Like,
No,
but
he's gonna be
yeah,
back.
yeah,
We're getting an excellent Borg Queen here.
superb, possibly two, because
I am now
I have theories.
convinced. So we did talk about episode one, which is obviously the episode one kind of stands alone and sets everything else up.
Yeah,
I am convinced Jurati is the Borg Queen that is on the ship. At
yes,
yeah, 100%.
100%. Yeah. Definitely convinced of that. Um, because she has a connection with the
Yeah,
new Borg Queen.
I love
She has a
how
power over the Borg
I
Queen
love
as
how
well.
individualistic the Borg Queens are, despite the whole collective thing. How Borg Queens are fully capable of being like, oh no, I'm gonna be petty just for the sake of being petty.
Well,
Like,
it's explained in a Voyager, like because you've been
yeah,
rewatching Voyager. It is explained in Voyager later on, because in the last season or so,
yeah.
they have to deal with the Borg quite a bit, including some Borg, two Borg queens, possibly, maybe. Um, and so you do gain an understanding. They need a certain level of individuality to have a perspective
Yeah,
on how to control everyone. And so that's why they are what they are. And of course, the other thing is like they have such knowledge, and not necessarily wisdom, but they have so much knowledge that they can become arrogant,
yeah.
and arrogance can lead to pettiness, and so on and so on and so on. So, like, actually um, seeing these emotions, seeing these real things come out of this Borg Queen,
Yeah.
who is stimulated by Jurati because obviously Jurati managed to steal some information from the Borg
Like
Queen's mind.
the
Um,
other things was if this is set when they travel back in time, this is set only a couple of years from now.
2024.
Yeah. So we're seeing rather poignant stories about ICE in America,
Yeah.
effectively. How they're rounding people up and
Well, it also
unfortunately,
runs a parallel.
Cristobal gets caught up in it all, doesn't he? Because
Mm,
he lands, injures himself, ends up in a medical center, and gets arrested.
mm. Yeah.
Um,
Because he doesn't have any documents on him, and it's a medical center that does free healthcare. How dare they? I know free healthcare in America
but
for undocumented immigrants,
yeah,
essentially.
that.
Um,
Sorry, yeah, carry on.
Sorry, and of course, so there's regular ice busts there, and so the doctor who runs the clinic um, tries to get him to leave, but he tries to stand up for her,
Well,
and
no,
that's
no,
how
no. He goes back to get his badge.
he goes back to get his badge. But he also, because he is a good guy, remember he's a
Oh yeah,
Starfleet captain.
he overhears.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He overhears it,
And
doesn't
he
he? And
put,
then interferes.
and then interferes because he can't help himself. Um, so so we get a little bit of a look at that. This is set in. Is this San Francisco?
No, it's LA.
It's LA. Because obviously the Deep Space Nine story that happens also in 2024 is in San Francisco, I think, which at the time is a walled city.
They've done a
So they
very good job continuity wise of making things match up.
yeah, visually it looks like it is similar. Obviously,
Yeah.
the thing is that like technology's moved faster than Deep Space Nine anticipated, so computers do look different and TVs look different. But other than that, like it's fine.
I mean,
Um,
we
but
learn,
society is still a mess.
yeah.
That's on the brink of becoming something
It doesn't look
terrible.
like rather than it being a dystopian future the way that it was in Deep Space Nine, it really just doesn't
You
look
see,
that dissimilar to.
the thing was actually Deep Space Nine didn't get it that far off. Like I rewatched it 6 months ago or something like
Well,
that.
no, but that's the
Particular
point.
story.
It was meant to be a slight
Mm,
dystopian future in Deep Space Nine. My
yeah,
point is that the future we're seeing in Picard really isn't any different to just what we're living in right now.
yeah, it's just honest.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I've seen people arguing like, "Oh, why do we have to get political about it?" And it's like, but it's not political. This is the world we're currently residing in.
and let's face it, it's Star Trek.
It
Like
doesn't.
Star Trek is
It
politics.
really doesn't really have to get any if much worse to be
Mm,
there in 2 years' time. Like,
mm. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Especially obviously if the like in the states in particular, if the Republicans get back in, which they probably are going to.
I mean,
Unfortunately.
Raffi and Seven steal a police car.
Yeah,
I saw some people being
which
like,
is
how can Seven drive? It's like, I don't know, she was on a ship with Tom Paris for like 5 years.
yeah.
He probably taught her.
Tom Paris. Well, I mean, Tom Paris had albeit in the holodeck, he had an internal combustion engine car
Yeah,
that he would tinker with. So she probably actually did learn to drive. In fact, she learned to drive manual,
yeah.
if she learned anything. Um, and so if anything, the fact that she's struggling with this police car is because it's automatic.
I love Seven and Raffi.
Yeah, yeah.
They're just great
Um,
together.
they're great together. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I am loving seeing Jerry Ryan get to stretch her legs again. Because she, having rewatched Voyager recently, I know
Yeah,
you're like
we've said it
nice and deep
before.
into it.
What's really good is when she gets stressed and the Seven of Old creeps
Yeah,
into the mannerisms. Like she's a Seven who is mostly human now,
yeah.
right? But in times of stress, the old monotone creeps,
The old monotone creeps in, and the fear and
and it's such
the
a subtle,
uncertainty.
wonderful performance.
She's such a subtle actress, though. I mean, like anyone who's watching this, go back, watch Voyager while it's still on Netflix, and then obviously when it makes it to whatever streaming, Paramount Plus. Um, she is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And there's such a delicate growth in Seven over her time, um, that I don't think. I mean, when I watched it, I wasn't necessarily appreciative of the
And
first time round.
I think it's
Um,
worth noting as well. Michelle Hurd does wonders next to her.
oh, they're great together.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
like
not trying to like
the Hurds
they are a great tag
and
team.
the pain, like how well Hurds doing that at the pain of losing,
Mm,
and at Picard's almost callousness of
mm.
letting it happen.
Of letting it happen and having to make the difficult decisions of the entire timeline is on the line.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we need to prioritize this over this, and that's like. But then, obviously, that's what his entire career has been, and he's Picard's like nudging 100 at this point,
yeah,
and
and we get him. He gets to meet another young. He's obviously met technically a younger Guinan than this once,
yes,
but he meets the Guinan of LA in 2024, who is
mm,
done with humanity. like,
absolutely done. Um, she has seen it get worse and worse and worse, and every time it looks like it isn't going to get any worse, we go and out worse ourselves. And yeah, it's a wonderful performance. I don't know the actress's name. I apologize for that, but um, she's brilliantly cast.
yeah,
Um, she's a great Guinan, and if you can 100% believe that she's Guinan as well. Um, which I like, because she's taking no shit, absolutely taking no shit, which
I
is the way that it should be.
Aito Aguirre. I may have apologies if I've got that wrong,
Yeah,
but
I mean
that's who's that's
we've
who's
done that
playing
with
her.
other names.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we might as well just call this show "White Boys Butcher." Interesting sounding names. But the however you pronounce her name,
the key
she's
thing is that we look
wonderful.
up a pronunciation and we pronounce it correctly from here on
We
out.
will, yes, we will certainly endeavour. But she's magnificent. I think that's the key point here. She's
Yeah,
like, and I think that's one of the things I'm actually enjoying most about this season over season one, is that there is a great cast,
yeah,
and we're actually getting to see a great cast that we can focus on. Because I think one of the big problems I had with season one, um, was the fact that it was like, oh, here's a TNG cameo and here's a TNG, and you were kind
fair.
of just
There wasn't that many TNG
well,
cameos in.
no, but you were sort of just waiting for them. It felt
I
like
mean, it sounds like next season, and I guess we should have that in the news show.
we should have done that in the new show, because spoilers if you haven't
That was the
watched
big
something.
news.
Yeah, yeah. That was the biggest news that
Well,
James couldn't remember.
we'll do it at the end
I'm just
of
going to
this.
turn a light on. I'll be
Yeah,
back in
of
a
course.
second. Keep speaking, Jay.
Matt is going to bring light to his room. And let there be light, as we have got light.
Yeah.
Now a more well-lit Matt returns.
Yes. When we shot the other video that we've just shot, the sun was still out and it was bouncing all over the room.
Yeah,
so it was fine.
We in episode 5 we get Brent Spiner back
Yes.
as yet another
like mad scientist song. This time with a bit more like believable motivation.
and Q is trying to use him to kill off Rene Picard.
Yes.
John Luke's ancestor, who not Laris is here to monitor.
Which is another revelation. So there's been mentions of Watchers, and Watchers are people who
Gary Seven was one.
Gary Seven was one. Yeah, they protect the timeline, but for specific key individuals or key events.
Yes.
And the actress that plays Laris is playing the Watcher that is keeping an eye on Picard's ancestor. So again, we don't know what's going on.
For me, it begs the question: is Laris not actually Laris, but still the same Watcher, but monitoring Picard? Like, is the whole family like been monitored throughout?
Or is like are they a descendant of?
Yeah.
Like maybe the family follow the family.
But yeah, and this episode, the last episode ends with them about to kind of heist the ball to try and save Renee. And we discover that while the Ball Queen is dead after being shot by Jurati, she very much is alive inside of her.
Because, surprise, surprise, those nanobots are doing their jobs.
Yep.
So, yeah, the beginning of the Jurati Queen, that potentially is
the whole
queen
thing
from episode
has been very good so far. It's just the kind of thing I don't have much to say about other than what we've basically done here, which is reiterate the plot. Like, because I don't think I'm gonna know how I feel about it until it sticks the landing or not.
Yeah, because I think it's one of those where like I'm enjoying all of the elements of it.
Because it's even less episodic than Discovery.
Yeah, like this does feel, and not in a bad way,
A film stretched out to 6 hours, or 10 hours in this case.
Yeah, and so far, actually, I think the pacing is all right on it.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I think.
I do feel like it's potentially. I'm a big proponent of binge culture ruined television, and I'm so glad TV's going back to being weekly. However, this is a show that may actually have been better suited as being dropped in
as a binge. Yeah. I think it's.
I mean, it's healthier for shows not to drop as binges as well, because they stay in the public consciousness for longer.
Definitely,
they stay talked about.
And I think obviously with Star Trek, like, you know, yes, they're going to potentially look at expanding with new projects and stuff like that. But with them doing 10-ish episode seasons, they can have a nice little overlap and then just keep them going. And then each creative team don't have too much stress. Because, of course, that's very important.
Shall we
nowadays
quickly discuss the big Picard news?
The big Picard news.
Which is that
I'm drinking dark grey, by the way, which is slightly smoked Earl Grey.
Nice.
So probably what Picard would drink if he wasn't on coffee in the dark timeline.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I've completely
Season 3 news.
Yes. All 7 of the core cast of TNG are coming back. Now they said this, and I was like, TNG had a much larger cast than 7, didn't it? And then I'm looking at all the promo pictures, like, oh no, it didn't. It just felt like it did.
Well, I mean, you had slightly. I mean, when they say 7, who is it then? So you got Patrick Stewart.
It's
Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah, so we've got Riker. We've got Crusher of the Beverly persuasion,
Troy.
not the Wesley persuasion.
Troy.
We have Troy. We have Data in theory.
Well, you've got
Spiner will be returning as someone. I somehow feel it is going to be Data somehow, but we'll see.
It might be that Star Trek finally go with some deep fake, possibly.
LaForge? Well, no, I reckon we're going to see an age Data somehow, but we'll move. LaForge?
Yeah.
Worf? There
we
go. That's 6.
That's 6. 7 including Picard?
Yes, 7 including Picard.
Yeah. So, obviously no Wesley yet.
No, although Wheaton is very much back in the family. As in, he works on the after shows for Paramount, and he's gone to his first Star Trek convention in a long time this week.
Yeah. So maybe, hopefully, could be nice to see some more. What the hell happened to Wesley? Although apparently he is in the. He's in the movie where Riker and Troy get married.
Yes, he's at the wedding, isn't he?
Yeah. But like, obviously, he's literally like a few frames, and so.
I'd like to see him in Lower Decks more than anything. I'll be honest.
Yeah, definitely, and of course Chief O'Brien. Let's get Chief O'Brien in there.
Oh, Chief O'Brien is why I might be thinking of. But obviously, Chief O'Brien is more associated with DS9, isn't he? He got promoted out of being the Energizer Chief.
Except he became a significant enough character by the end of his run in TNG that.
But you have to ask,
they actually have
why? Like, he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
He sits there and energizes people. It's why the Chief O'Brien comic is is funny, because it's true.
Yeah. Although it's very touching though, because when
my
Chief O'Brien says goodbye, to the Enterprise, actually there's some really touching moments.
Don't be wrong, Chief O'Brien is a great character.
Chief O'Brien is a tremendous character.
Oh, you know. Much like his ancestor. He was more than a hero. He was a Union man.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be... I mean, this is definitely going to be the end of Picard.
Yes, season 3 is the end.
No, I mean the character as well. Surely they're going to actually kill him off.
I don't know.
Unless he becomes a Q.
Or maybe they will, but then Patrick Stewart will write a series of novels that brings him back to life. Like good old Shatner.
But then I get the feeling...
Have you ever heard of a Shatnerverse of Star Trek?
No.
So after Generations...
Yeah.
He somehow came back to life, was given like a major captaincy again, and went on many an adventure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, William Shatner wrote them. There's a whole bunch of... They're not part of the main Star Trek novel verse. They're their own thing, but basically William Shatner just went wild.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got the freedom to go a bit wild, maybe it's quite interesting. I
mean, knowing how he writes Kirk, I imagine they are interesting.
Very self-indulgent, yeah.
Speaking of Star Trek books, though, how cool is this cover? And speaking of original TNG cast, picked up this on eBay recently. It's set during the Dominion War. It's a Next Generation novel. And it's about good old Troy having to fight the Dominion occupation of Beta Z.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I just saw the cover, and the cover was just like, that's a really cool cover. So I grabbed it.
You know who else we need? Barclay.
Yeah. He's a lower deck. He's a lower decks reappearance.
Yeah. And he needs to be He needs to be in the final season of Picard.
Like maybe you have a.
Of course, lead on to the crew of the Stargazer getting their own.
Maybe
series.
you have a Boimler meet him and then realise like, oh no, my life's pretty decent. Like, could be worse. Could be Barclay.
Yeah, could be. Although Barclay got his
yeah,
like Barclay. When you get to the end of Voyager, you'll realise how important Barclay is.
Barclay worked on the Doc as well, right? Yeah. And I think on that note, we shall say we'll see you in 5 weeks' time when we review episodes 6 to 10 of Picard.
Well, will it be 6 to 10, or are we doing a full series roundup? Or are we going to do both?
It'll be a mixture.
Yeah, it'll be a 6 to 10 plus a full series roundup. With a little, like, what the hell's going to happen in season 3? I still don't know where they're going with this. As I said before, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
But I really don't know where they're going with it. Which is a good thing, I suppose.
Maybe you would get a Locutus that was designed to be what Locutus was always originally meant to be. Because Locutus wasn't meant to be a drone.
No.
Locutus was meant to be on the level of the
Queen. For the Queen.
Yeah. Like, meant to be as independent of thought. So maybe something happens with Jurati and, like...
Well, didn't we speculate earlier in the season that potentially season... Or maybe we did this off camera.
But season 3 could be them trying to stop a fresh Locutus.
Yeah.
I think we definitely said it off camera.
Or at least save Picard from being Locutus, not necessarily realising that actually he wanted to be Locutus.
We'll see.
This was a way of bringing peace.
Who knows? We shall see what happens. And on that note,
live long and prosper, everyone.
Earl Grey hot.
Yeah. Well, mine was cold by the end of it because we spent that much chatting before the video.
Yeah. Oh well. See you, people.